Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is The Love and Odd. Today I'm going to be doing a review of Revoltech or Revoltech. I don't know. This is the first Revoltech figure I've ever bought by a company called Kaiyodo. I don't know how to say that. I did not know how to pronounce that. But please do not get mad at me. I do not want to fumble the pronunciation. That's why I'm not going to try to say it. Anyways, so this is my first Revoltech figure. I opened it earlier, but I'm going to show you, if you want to get this figure, I'm going to show you my honest opinion about this. Now, you might be wondering, why did you get the original one? I'm going to talk about that later. But first, let's just look at the box. The box itself looks pretty good. Not that bad. On the front, you see the character of Buzz Lightyear. You see the Toy Story logo. Of course, you see Legacy of Revoltech from 2006 to 2014. Now, you might be wondering, why did you get this figure? I got this figure because I did not know if I was going to like this toy. I did not know if I was going to be a fan. I've heard people say great things about Revoltech, but I've always thought them a bit, I don't know, I guess overrated. I don't know. I feel like the hype is just overhyped, and I'm looking at this figure and I'm like, maybe I am right. But let's continue looking at this stuff. Figure complex, the legacy of Revoltech, and again, of course, says the same thing, 2006 from 2014. And LR046. What does that mean? I don't even know. Sometimes with figure companies, they always put random numbers for a figure. Sculpted by, I am not going to try to pronounce that right there. Please forgive me. I am not going to try to pronounce that because I feel like I'm going to fumble it. But big thanks for this person who made this and sculpted it. But paint job wise, oh, we're going to talk about that. Anyways, and on the other side, same thing. Figure complex, Revoltech of Legacy of Revoltech or whatever. Same thing, of course, just with the picture. And again, another image of just him standing. Really not a lot of poses, which is just kind of... Oh my god, did I accidentally spit? I'm sorry, did that get caught on camera? My apologies. Let's continue with this, because I have so much stuff to say. I'm trying not to just spit my words out. Anyways, so... And of course, you could take off the remove the helmet if you want. Take it off if you want to. There's only two face plates, little nice butterfly joints. Not a lot of posability, and then this is the only accessories, which I have a lot of things to say about it. Let's continue. Now, the original pricing for this was like what, $50, I think. But now overpriced. Oh yeah, by the way, before I continue, oh my god, look, the stand almost fell off of my shelf. I really got to get a new table. Anyways, so what I noticed and what I've heard about this, they never put tape on their boxes. So you don't know if anyone's gonna mess your figure up, because usually it's with wired. The Buzz Lightyear figure has wired around the figure, but there's no tape. So anyone could just mess around with this figure, put it back in the box, and act like it hasn't been messed with, which I was very much worried about. So, yeah, let's talk about this right away. So I did open this before doing this review, so let's actually just look at the stand, because not a lot of companies give you stands. Not NECA, not SH Figure Arts. Sometimes when it becomes for their mediocre figures, that's the word I'm trying to find. So they're always giving the mediocre characters, sometimes cool characters, stands, but they don't give their Goku or Vegeta stands, which is so stupid. So the stand doesn't look, I mean, it's fine, it's just clear stand, but I feel like sometimes with these type of stands, they would easily just break off in the middle part. Sometimes you will see like the plastic slowly turned white, because it just shows that it's gonna fucking break at any moment. So, and then of course, I am still not gonna try to pronounce that. I'm just gonna say Revoltech, because I'm gonna just fumble that. So, let's take, oh, what the heck? Why the heck was there here? Oh my god. Alright, well, let's just ignore that. Let's act like we didn't see nothing, ladies and gentlemen. So, right off the bat, let's just look at the fun stuff, I guess you could say. We have the Green Army Man. I guess these are the official Toy Story ones, even though you could get these, like, a bucket of them, like, that are this big, I think. And if you get the one with the bucket, it's like $5, and you'll get a lot of them. While this one, $50, but the overpricing, the aftermarketing, resellers. We're not gonna talk about that. I oh, but these are little guys. They're fine. Let's take a look at the sergeant. Now I remember this guy was voice acted by the man from Full Metal Jacket. I don't know if anyone has any of my audience. I don't know how old my audience are. I don't know, but I don't know if anyone remembers the sergeant who played this character in this movie was played by the same guy who was actually an person in the army. I forgot the actor's name, but he was in Full Metal Jacket. He was the guy that says, "Show me your war scream." It doesn't even matter. I'm talking about Full Metal Jacket when I need to talk about this figure. But this little character-wise, he's fine. He doesn't look bad. It's a green army man. I mean, what do you really expect? I mean, you see here, there's little, like, scoped-wise around here, little pouches, which I always loved and appreciate with the little army man figures. It's like it's insane how much people put a lot of details. And, of course, I don't know who the heck this character is, but he has a weapon, a gun. I don't know what kind of gun this is. I'm not going to try to guess. I'm going to fumble it, and then some guy's going to just be mad at me that I don't know my guns. I don't care. So, let's continue on. Again, not bad scoped work. Really nothing much to say. They're all very shiny little characters, which is fine. That's fine. They're toys. Makes sense. With the original ones, they were like matte finish, but I'm pretty sure in the movies, they were way more shinier. And, of course, we have one with I guess, a bazooka or a rocket launch. I don't know. But he looks pretty cool. I don't mind the way he looks, but he's not looking to the left, as I always thought was weird with these the guys with the rockets. I've always thought those were weird. They never pointed their heads to make sure they're aiming. They were just always looking straight and then aiming to the left. But anyways, not bad. Here's another thing, another problem I have to talk about. What the fuck is this? You might be curious. Oh, it's a stand. Yes, it's a stand. It's a nice, simple stand. It says Buzz Lightyear. It says Toy Story. That's cool. But what's this little hole doing? I know damn well. I don't know. Look, I have not got the original version of this toy. Maybe this is the original version. I don't know. I've seen different boxes of the packaging. So, I don't know. My mind is scrambling, and I never bought anything from Revoltech. So, this is a nice simple stand, but I feel like they were gonna have a little piece where you could connect the stand and connect it right here, which would make more sense, right? Right? Am I going nuts? Am I going crazy? Some people might be curious, why do I get a bit angry in some of these reviews? Because stuff like this, if you want your customer to be happy, the consumer to be happy, you want them to have something good. Now look, yes, you could just leave the stand like that and it looks fine, but I'd rather have something connected right here, so in case if I want to take the figure off the stand like that, the stand wouldn't have to like fall off. But of course, you could just remove everything since there's only basically 4 little pieces. So next thing, his little face sculpt. Not bad. If you get the 1.5, which is the new version, way better paint job. These paint jobs are fine. I mean, he looks like a toy. That's what he is. That's fine. And again, really nothing much to say. He does got that little curl. He does have that little big freaking like Giga Chad chin. He has some little tiny pink cheeks, if you could see there. And his eyeballs, you can move them around, which are another problem I have. You might be curious, oh, why? They're movable eyeballs. Yeah, they're cool. But anytime if you want to like have the figure look, oh, crap. Everything always slips out of my freaking hand. If you want to have the figure look up, we're just going to use this for example. Look up like this. And if you try to put the faceplate, I'm going to show you. When you try to put the faceplate, it pushes up when you put this in the figure. So it'll be like this, looking up. Then putting it on the faceplate, it would just push it back. And it would look awkward like this. So I have stuff to say. And then, of course, the little holes you could put for the faceplate. So I don't mind this face, but I just have a problem with the eyes. So another thing let's talk about before we talk about the figure himself. His wings. His wings are they're good. They're fine. I've heard that Revoltech is supposed to have high quality paint job. what the fuck is this? Sorry for my language, but it's like, what? I kind of expected this figure to be a bit, you know, more better with the paint job. And this one's fine until you get to the end, which that just looks very weird. And then of course, this looks perfect. That just looks awkward. Again, there's so many, like, man. And I would love to paint these on my own, but I would know I'm just gonna mess these up even more. So let's continue on. So if you look closely, they will each have a different little light. Because of course, in his wings, they will have little light bulbs. But right here, you have a red one. And right here, you have a green one, which is not that bad. So, not bad, not bad. It's just the paint job. It's like, oh man, I'm really disappointed about the paint job. Now, let's talk about the figure himself. The figure himself. The thing that everyone is probably watching my video here for. I don't know if anyone's watching my video. That's fine. I'm just happy to be here. Anyways, let me show you, because you look at this figure and you're like, whoa, okay, that looks pretty good. That looks fine. That looks like Buzz Lightyear. And you look far away and you're like, okay, yeah, that is Buzz Lightyear. But then you look closely at the freaking, look at that right there. I don't know if you guys could see, but there's, I'm gonna need to bring a light very closely. I don't know if you guys could see, but right here, there's a gray little, I think it's a green little smudge or something, part of the paint. There's this purple part that's getting rubbed off, and that's not good, because no one's able to see it right here. I don't know if anyone's able to see it. I'm trying to get a good angle, but as soon as you open it and as soon as you look at him, it looks so noticeable and it's so bad. That's not the only one. No. Around here, around the neck area, or the chest area, I mean. Right here, it's supposed to be nice and clean. But then there's some paints that are just, oh my god, I just accidentally spit again. My apologies. Again, I have so much freaking things to say because people were just overhyping these figures. It's not a bad figure by means, but I got a lot to say. And of course, right here, more paint jobs that are just sinking right in. Like, it's supposed to be nice and clean and purple, but look right here, look right there, it's this little green smudge. You're not going to be able to see because the light is in the way. I thought the light was going to help. Again, I'm sorry. I wish y'all guys could see where I'm looking at. If y'all guys look at this in person, depends if you get this figure. I hope you have a nice, beautiful paint job figure. I don't know if the new one has clean paint job. This is like the 2014 one. So I don't know. And then around here with the fingers as well, it's a little messed up. It might not. No one who's probably watching this video is not gonna care. But for me, who loves his figures to be nice, perfect, I want it to look very beautiful and accurate to the character. But then you see like a little, like, just missed opportunities in paint job. And of course, I'm a bit shocked, because the figure, like, there's some good stuff. But then let's talk about this face sculpt. Face sculpt, pretty cool. But then if you look closely, look at that right there. Another messed up paint job. Yes. So when I opened this figure, I moved around his eyes and I looked down and I don't know what the fuck happened. What? He looks so weird. So if I'm gonna switch them out, what I'm gonna do is, because you can just remove their eyes if I'm able to. There we go. So what I'm gonna do is move this eye and switch it out with these other eyes anytime I'm moving the figure. So I'm only gonna do that when I'm switching the faceplate, but I feel like I'm not supposed to do that because I feel like the paint job should be there staying forever and ever. Not like this. What is this? This other eye, perfectly, beautifully done. This other eye, my goodness, it looks horrendous. His face sculpt, by the way, it looks good. I like it. I don't mind it. It's Buzz Lightyear, but the eyeballs are the problem with me. And before we even continue looking at like posability, actually, I'm gonna talk about the part I was trying to tell y'all guys earlier. So the faceplate, this part is so weird because let's like I said earlier, I want to move his eyes up to make it look like he's probably flying. All right, making it look like it's probably flying. Look, and you see there, connected. And then look, it's moving it moves the eyeballs. So this little gimmick, I don't mind it. Moving eyeballs, you're like, okay, that's cool, that's cool. But it's so pointless. It's so pointless. It really just again, I'm sorry. I like to give my honest opinions if it's worth it. And I slowly have some regrets of buying this figure, but at the same time, I have fun with this figure. But when it comes to movements like this with the eyes, the only way you could have his eyes not to be messed up if you just have him straight. So nothing special, just have his eyes looking like he's just looking at you. Just like that. Just like that. That's the only way you could probably leave his eyeballs. And then of course around here you see this little weird gap around his chin. So you're really trying to press on the figure, on the faceplate for this figure. And man, it's just, again, let me show you guys again. Let's put the eyeballs up. Okay, that looks too bad. Okay, let's put the eyeballs up like that. Okay, making it look like he's flying. And let me show you guys. All right. I'm not gonna mess with it. There we go. There we go. So, like I said, there's no point of this. There's no point of this eyeball movement thing going on. I'm really not a fan of it. I don't mind when figures have the eyeball movement, but if only the eyeballs would actually, you know, stay in place, what it's supposed to do. I don't know. It's quite the odd figure. I could just actually do this. You know what? Since we are going to talk about the helmet, he doesn't have his faceplate. Of course, I'm gonna just talk about that later. So of course you can move it up and down, which you have this weird little gap, which were they afraid that no one was able to just lift this up? Because look, you have this weird gap, not gap, this weird little hook, which sure it could help you. But you know what you could also do? You could do that. This part, very pointless, because at the end of the day, you could just do this. That's it. Now, of course, if you don't want to get your figure smudged or dirty, just always wash your hands. Just keep your hands clean, right? Right? So, that's really nothing much to worry about except for this part, which is so weird. So anytime you see this, half the time it doesn't even like hang down all the way. See this tiny little gap? So it's weird, but you want to like squeeze this around here. Don't squeeze it too hard. Okay, this is so difficult to just have this figure pointing this way. So I'm just gonna have it. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna try to show you guys that again. You see this? See this green little smudge? It's so tiny, but you could probably see it. I don't want that. I don't want that. I want this. Look at this. It's so perfect around here. And then right here, it's nope. Not even full purple. Not. I don't know how I'm gonna keep this figure. I don't know if I'm gonna keep him with this helmet on, because he looks good with this helmet. I've always liked him with this helmet on to give that full Space Ranger look. But I also like the helmet off. But like I told you about the eyeballs, you kind of want that helmet to protect the eyeballs to not mess up the paint job around the eyes or the mouth. play. So yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna post this around, but yeah, man, just he's not a bad looking figure. Speaking of like figures, let's actually compare him. Here we go is Vegeta from the Dragon Ball Daima. Pretty good. I mean, Vegeta's small either way. Here we have Reed Richards from the Marvel Legends. So, right off the bat, you could already tell that this figure of Buzz Lightyear, he is very short. And we have a Sonic. He is that short. He's that short next to Sonic. He is that, well, no, because Sonic is, yeah, see, Sonic is even like a couple of inches taller than him. So, Buzz Lightyear, he's short, but I'm not mad about that. Because in the movies, he is very short. I mean, like, what it would be around here, he'll be like around his shoulders, most likely, I'm pretty sure. I probably got the height wrong, but if you watch those movies, he's a tiny little lad. But he's like 4 inches, I'm pretty sure. But I feel like they could make him maybe 5 inches. It would have been fine. I mean, yes, he's based on a toy. That the toy is based on an actual character named Buzz Lightyear, which that movie, by the way, does anyone remember that Buzz Lightyear movie? That movie sucked. Just watch the 3 movies. Show those to your kids, your friends, your families. Just show the 3 original movies. That's all you gotta find and watch. Those are the only good movies. Anyways, so this figure is again, the more I look at him, the more little paint smudge. You can't see it. Oh man. You can't see it. I'm probably, it sounds like I'm probably whining, which if it does, I don't care. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna have to be honest about this. People always say, oh my god, Revoltech is the greatest. Because the figure, he's not bad, but around here, the neck, like around there, it's so weird. It's not perfect. It's not perfectly, just so dirty paint. It's not perfectly smooth. So that's why if you have the helmet on, you're gonna have a light just glaring off that helmet, like you see. See how you have a light just glaring off that helmet? So the more you have this, the less you're gonna notice the problems, because you're gonna have this helmet on. You're not gonna notice anything else until you look very, very closely, like how I do it. And even with this helmet, there's some weird little smudge right there. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird figure to move around. But let's continue on. Let's talk about posability, which is kind of Let's talk about this though. So up, fine, that's good. Down, it looks like he's looking straight ahead. Look at that. Look at that. I'm gonna move his head to make him look like he's looking straight. It's already like that. It's already. So, up looks completely different. Down looks like he's just... Down looks like he's just looking at you, but then... Yeah, okay, yeah, now his head's straight, but either way, you see the difference. So, let's also talk about the arms, because the arms is oh, by the way, you could just have his head. I mean, of course, what do you expect? I mean, it's as every figure should always have. I mean, come on now, what do you expect from stuff like this? But it's on a little hinge, which the hinge does do its job, but I feel like if it was on a ball joint, I feel like you would have so much range, because with Buzz Lightyear, it feels like his head was on a ball joint half the time. Remember when Woody slapped Buzz Lightyear with his arm? Because he thought he was Mrs. Nesbit? Do y'all remember from Toy Story 1? Yeah. His head will move like a little ball head, so I wish they had like a ball joint instead. But yeah. So let's continue on. So you could get T-posing okay, I guess. I don't know. Now, another thing. Down his arms very long. People might have a complaint. I don't care. This is how his arms look like. And also for a figure that's 6 inch, it's like 4 inches, whatever. Because there are other Toy Story Buzz Lightyear figures that are like 6 inches or 7 inches. And I remember those toys, but they were not the high quality. This one, it's better than those other toys, but then there still could have been improvements to this figure. I know the new one has extra faceplate, but is it gonna fix the paint job? Is it gonna fix the posability? That's the thing. I know it's not, because I've seen reviews and looked at pictures and compared to them, and I'm just like, well, this looks the same. Unless I'm wrong, please let me know. Okay, so again, it's fine. Butterfly joint. Butterfly joint is not that bad, but if you look closely right here. It's not, this is the area where his arm's supposed to be connected, of course. And then when you move the butterfly joints and keep trying to stretch them out, you will pull his arms out. And then it could look like from Toy Story 1. See what, this is what I'm talking about. Look, I know I would usually get mad at this, but since you could just put it back together, I'm fine with that. But I feel like, oh, dropped it. I dropped the piece, guys. I got it. I got the piece. Anyways, so, I have these arms like this. So I could just, it's so weird. It's such a weird figure. I thought the Cell figure was weird. No, this is weird. Okay, so you know what? Screw it. What I usually try to do is just put it like that near the hole, because the hole's right there. There you go. And boom. So there we go. So be careful, because you could easily just take these parts off. You want to know? You want to see? There you go. There's more parts that you could easily take off. This is supposed to be high-end figure or whatever. And I know SH Figure Arts also falls apart sometimes, but at least they don't break. This, he could fall apart, but at least he doesn't break. No joints has popped off. No pegs have popped off. So that's good. That's good. But there's no, like, you could move his arms like this. Like, if you want to try to look like a certain angle, I don't know, whatever photography you want to do. But if you have him looking like at the back, it looks so ugly. It looks disgusting. But of course, you're supposed to use the illusion of the angles. Mess with the angles. Try to make an illusion like his arms are actually stretching instead of looking at the back part and then seeing the mechanism, and then it looks awkward. But anyways, there's no swivel right here. No swivel. The part that you think that's going to move, it doesn't. No swivel, but guess what? Swivel around here, which is very weird. So I don't know if it was supposed to move like this, which of course it was supposed to move like that, but I've heard people said anytime you move this around, it only moves just by itself. But you could just take this arm off. See how I got the hinge like that? Now I got the hinge straight ahead. I could have the hinge like that. Put it back in place. And like that. There you go. So you could switch it around, but I don't know if that's supposed to happen. I don't think it's supposed to happen unless I'm wrong. I don't know. But yeah, it's weird. But there's buttons on him, of course, because that's how he is. Of course, you can't press none of the buttons. None of these are pressable. Now, if you do get the Bandai model kit of the Buzz Lightyear, you will be able to press each of the buttons, I think, and you press this button and his wings will pop out. And I wanted to get that, but the reason I didn't want to get that is because his parts of the hands wasn't colored. I know it's a stupid thing. I like my Buzz Lightyear to be the most accurate thing possible. Now, let's continue. So, you really don't get a lot of posability unless you actually try, which I could see some posability. I'm like, okay, yeah, that works. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like there's areas around the parts that looks like they're little line areas that looks like, oh yeah, you could probably move that. No, you can't move that, unfortunately. So you do have little hinges, little side-to-side hinges, of course. And of course, the other cool part is the figure has Those little posable fingers. Look at that. Look at those little fingers. You know what I'd rather wish? Extra hands. I'd rather wish for extra hands. I know for the new Buzz Lightyear 1.5, it has extra faceplates. I don't care. I want extra hands. Do you not understand? Because it looks like, look at this. It looks like all of the hands are separate, which they look like they are separate, but then it's just all connected on one hinge. So it reminds me of some Toy Biz, some Marvel Toy Biz. But at the same time, I'm like, really not that much. And I've heard that the finger, like the thumb, falls off. My thumb hasn't fall off, but I know you could just put it back in the socket, so it doesn't really matter. This part, another part, look at this. Look at this. Another part I thought that was pointless is the hinge. So I get what you're trying to have. You want to have a hinge. You want to have your figure to have some ab crunch, right? This part, it's not rubbery. It's not rubbery enough for the material. It's plastic, hard plastic, and yeah. Also, there are some paint smudge that I think I scratched off when I was moving the figure, but I don't care because look. Wait, there we go. You're not able to see it either way, so I'm fine with that. But you really try to like pose him, you can't really do nothing. And when I opened this figure, I was so worried because I thought his joints were very loose. But if I were you, I would probably take this off and then try to fix this around because it moves. But when you put it back on him, look, it doesn't move for shit. So it's basically pointless. You could just turn him around, sure. But you can't do a little ab crunch, which I mean it would be pointless because you not get nothing much. But I know you could get the ab crunch. I know it. I know it's possible. But I don't want to force this figure and then break it on accident. No, I'm not gonna try to do that. His legs. Let's talk about his legs. Yes, those also fall off. Let's actually talk about posability and just talk about that. So you have a little hinge. There's little hinges around that you hear that? So you hear those little ratchets or whatever, yeah. So they move back that much. Front's not that, okay, I guess. It's not really the figure's fault, it's just the way the toy was made in the movie. Because Buzz Lightyear, he's like one of the coolest toys ever seen. Of course, you can't have no karate chop action. He doesn't glow in the dark. He doesn't have his laser point. He doesn't have the button where you could extend the swing, even though you could change them out, but still. And single jointed, which I'm also fine with, because that's how he is made. But you could also just, like, see? Come on now. So, and another thing I've heard people say about, also one more thing. Hinge. So, not bad, but, and again, like the areas around the parts, sometimes it could be nice and clean, but like little areas like this, it overlaps. So it just hits the line where it's supposed to be around. While this one, man, it also overlaps. Again, there's so many little paint jobs that it really bothers me, but the more you just mess around with, the more you just don't notice it. And also this figure, he's very weird to move around. So I guess what you can do, move the hinge, which is, oh man, these hinges feel very rubbery, but they don't feel like they're gonna snap off, but at the same time, it feels like it's gonna snap off. I don't know, See, so you don't really get a lot. So you don't get a lot either way if you try to move that. So you're kind of just stuck like this. This is such an awkward, weird piece of toy to look at. At least it's not a McFarlane toy, so I'm okay with that. I'd rather mess with this than a McFarlane toy. But yeah, there we go. Now he's standing up. There we go. There we go. So let's have him with his wings. So what you want to do, this little tiny little hinge. Not little hinge, this little clip, whatever. And then you see to the left, or yeah, there we go. Left, right. I was gonna say this, but then it's gonna be different on the camera, and my left and right is probably gonna be different from yours. So that's not the point. The point is, you see what I'm trying to talk about? The freaking wings. Because the left side, it looks very different. It basically looks like a puzzle, and the right side also looks like a puzzle. Okay, so if this part, and you want to make sure it goes like clipped in there. Okay, and you see this part right here, that's a little white part to continue with the wing, so you want to make sure. Okay, there we go. There we go. So it's clipped on there, perfectly fine and beautiful. So now let's continue with this other side, and there we go, there we go. All right, now, and there we go is Buzz with his wings, which also looks very, very cool. And let's try to have him on his stand, because the stand, which I was a bit surprised that could actually like hold his, you know, entire weight. So the way I like to do it is have it around his waist area. Oh, you can't even see it. There you go. Look at that. That looks pretty good. But unfortunately, I do have my problems. I mean, of course, in reality, my actual problems, he doesn't have his little wrist communicator he could open up, glow in the dark. He doesn't have no buttons to actually press, no lasers, no wings to actually, you know, extend. I would say it's impossible, but if the Bandai model kit could do it, I feel like Revoltech could also do it. But of course, not every figure would be able to do something like Buzz Lightyear could do, because I feel like it would be the most impossible figure to make. But then Mayfix did their $600 Buzz Lightyear that's movie accurate, even though it doesn't glow in the dark or other stuff that I just said in this video. But the way he looks all right. He looks fine the way he is. It's Buzz Lightyear. I mean, what do you got to say? I just have problem with the paint smudge, not a lot of accessories, even though, yes, the 1.5 got the faceplates, but I don't care. This is an original release. I feel like it should have extra hands, extra stuff. You get little army guys, you get a little army man, but I don't really care. I really don't care. I want the Buzz Lightyear figure to be perfect as much as it's supposed to be. Now, of course, not every figure is supposed to be perfect. It's not able to be done. Well, I think it is. But, I mean, I have some problems. So, people say this Revoltech is the best thing ever, blah, blah, blah. I'm giving this a 7.9, a 7.9. If it was a 1 out of a 6, oh, that's a bad sign. But a 7 out of a 10, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Like I said, I do have problems like the paint smudges, the accessories, the lack of accessories, the eyeballs. I mean, well, I guess that's part of the paint job, I guess you could say that. But anyways, so 7.9, not that bad. Would I recommend this to you? If you're a fan of Revoltech, sure. If you're a fan of Buzz Lightyear, sure. But if you have like a little kid who loves Toy Story, for instance, because of course it's a kids franchise, this is going to be a clunky figure for little kids to play with. So just give them the regular size big Buzz Lightyear toy. I'd rather have the big Buzz Lightyear toy than this, to be completely honest with you. But either way, yeah, 7.9 out of 10, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you for watching this video. I hope y'all guys have a wonderful day, wonderful life, wherever y'all are in this big, crazy world. And I'll see y'all guys another time. Goodbye.